about the system, platform. You see some technical market indicators here on my screen. I will explain those as need be. The general concept of the system once again, and the basic process on which I identify trades. Okay, so first things first. Number one, what I do is in the morning check to see what the market has done. Okay, as you can see here, right, we are down for the day, under 1%. So it's a very obvious short trade. So we assume thus far. Two, our session low is 4175.50. Our session high is 4221.50. Super important thing to watch for initially is to see what the session open and the high were. Now the difference here is only 2 ticks, right? So half a point. That is a very, very, very key indicator of a short day. Okay. And then our current price is 4182.75, moving relatively slowly as it does pre-market, and our low is 4175.50. So initially watching this, I would go ahead and set the trade. Okay, but we're going to walk it through and talk it through just a little bit because we're quite a bit off of our price target entry. What we do here is place highs at the high end of the range and the low end of the range. Now, range is defined by the difference between the high and the low for the session. Our range is identified as this. Our high range is 4221.50. Our low range is 4175.50. Okay. The only indication that you need to consider between the range is that the range is greater than 15 points. That is not a hard and fast rule, but it generally means, for me, is how I interpret it, is that there is enough market movement pre-market, okay, from session open at 1700 to now, which we're at 6:54 a.m., to indicate a good one-way solid movement. So there's going to be some volatility in the market today. Now, another great indicator is that the market's already down 1% for the day. Doesn't mean necessarily that it can't go lower, because very obviously it can, but it can also go higher. Not higher as far as the session open or the session high is concerned, which also could happen, but higher concerning our current price. This is all we're going to look at, okay? In the background, I don't know if you'll hear, I have CNBC radio on. Okay, that'll stay up throughout the day just to hear what's going on. And typically what will happen, obviously, is that you're going to see volatility in the market. Okay, and then I'm going to try to justify it or get a reason or answer for it through our commentators at CNBC. Okay, also, we're going to walk through the technical market indicators that we're using right now. Okay. Here at the bottom, you'll see a stochastic oscillator. Relatively simple price action indicator. You have a fast line, all right, which is indicated here by this blue, and then a slow line, which is indicated here by this red. Now, as far as how the stochastic oscillator is calculated, if anyone is interested in that, we can get into that a little bit later. Secondly, you'll see a Bollinger Band here, okay? And Bollinger Band, standard deviation from an average, right? And we use, and they're both on a 10-3-3, all right, smoothing average. So, and then obviously Bollinger Bands at a 10 period average with 2 standard deviations. Okay, these are very short-term indicators, so they will not necessarily be very good at catching long-term trends, but they will be very good at indicating short-term trends. Okay. Secondly, I toggle quite a bit between the 5 minute and the 1 minute. Okay. I use these two things to confirm trend. So first, we start out with our primary trend at 5 minutes. What we're going to look at here is that this slope, okay, and the upward movement currently in our fast line on the stochastic oscillator is indicating the possibility, okay, of a short-term price increase. Right. Currently, our target is to enter at 2 points above the session low. So our entry would be 4177.50. Have our exit be 4175.50. Okay, so this trend, our indicators don't necessarily indicate that currently, right? So this, right, you can see the actual values. They're absolutely pretty much identical. Okay, the fast line right here obviously controls the faster trend, the slow line, the slower trend. The difference is a 3-bar average, right? That's it. But once again, we can get into how these things are calculated a little bit later on. Then, once I see this, because this is not an actual trend, not yet, okay? We know that it has stopped coming off of its lows and it's arcing upward, right? Then we're going to go back to the 1-minute bars and check that same thing. Excuse me, my grandfather has just gotten back. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Yep. So then we're going to look back at the 1-minute trends, right? 1 minute bars. And you can see the big difference between the 5 and the 1 minute. The 1 minute is price action increasing, okay? A little bit of resistance here at the 80 line, which is this top dotted line here, all right? And then it has an arc moving backward and back down. Not a very significant, not a very strong trend, okay? So what this would indicate is that we're going to currently stay out of the market, right? Go back to our 5-minute bar. These two trends need to essentially complement each other, right? 5-minute being our primary, 1 minute, excuse me, being our secondary. So for confirmation, right? Being that is done, all right, and that the current price is, we'll say, for 6 points off of our entry target, all right, where you have a little bit of time. We don't have to rush. We don't have to panic to do anything. So what we're going to do is open up another tab, okay, and then go to our Bloomberg economic calendars. All right. Here, clear out all the filters. Worried about the United States only. Okay. Continue down. These are important, right? So we're only going to click on the 3 bulls. So the most important, which would indicate has the potential to move the market the most. All right. Then we're going to apply. Now we go here. You can specify, right? So our current date is the 22nd. We're going to go ahead and apply that. And then as you can see, today we have no event scheduled. All right. No problem. So what that also does mean is that concerning economic reports, we're not going to have anything that moves the market tremendously today. Okay. That does not mean that some other information will not come out throughout the week or throughout the trading session to move it one way or the other. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and apply for the entire week so we can kind of plan ahead, right? Here you have tomorrow on the 23rd, Tuesday, we have new home sales. Okay. Yeah, sure. That one's all right. Here, core durable goods orders is going to be a super important one. And you can see that it's at 8:30 Eastern time, which would be 7:30 Central Standard Time, which is where we are right now. Okay. This is going to be our forecast is for a 0.2% increase. Previous is at 0.4%. Right? They're going to talk about it and they're going to report it constantly and consistently on, well, I listen to CNBC radio, but whatever live financial news network you do listen to, assuming you do, this is going to give a great indicator to the health of the consumer, quite frankly. Okay. Core durable goods orders, specifically, let's just focus on the durable goods orders, are larger ticket items, right? They consider it to be items that if you were to have purchased and left in your backyard for a period of 3 years, and they don't go bad or deteriorate and disintegrate and so forth, that they would still be operable. Why this is important is because durable goods come into, let's say, they're in the category of, let's say, a washer machine or a dryer machine, okay, or a dryer, excuse me. That is important because it costs significantly more to purchase a washer machine than it does a pair of new shoes. Well, depending on what kind of shoes you wear. All right, typically for the typical consumer. So if people are purchasing orders or purchasing items, durable good items that are considerably more expensive, okay, that will also last considerably longer, it's an indication of the health of the consumer, okay? Because people typically the consumer will purchase larger ticket items because they have the money to do so. Two, they're going to purchase those items for the long term. So to say that outside of people who need them, of course, right now for whatever emergency deal, they're saying that it typically translates out to them saying that their outlook on the economy is favorable. Okay, because they are willing to spend a significant amount of money now and plan to use that item for a good period of time, right? When durable goods orders slow down and slow down significantly, okay, that's the first kind of telltale sign that the consumer demand and consumer spending is constricting, okay? Speaking of constriction, now you'll see here the Bollinger Bands are really wonderful for indicating a handful of things, right? You'll see here, okay, it's time of, well, we'll use the term volatility for now, right? But it might not always be appropriate. But what it is price movement is very steep, okay, to the downside in this case, but it could be to the upside. And what you'll see is here in this consolidation period, which means that these bands are constricting as they are right now, okay. Here, the bands widen because the price movement was moving, the price is moving considerably, right, to the downside, right? These are what we indicate as buying opportunities or selling opportunities, okay, trade opportunities. Here, we have a significant consolidation period, and the price is, like you can see, pretty much moving sideways. I think the range here might be about 2 points. This is an indication of a future price movement, okay? So one thing about consolidation is that once it exits the consolidation period, it is going to go a direction, okay? That direction is going to be either up or down. You never really know, okay? So currently what we're going to do, we see price kind of creeping down, is we're going to go ahead and set our trades, okay? Now, I trade in 5 contract lots. You see all the price information down here, right? So our price target currently is going to be 2 points above the session low, right? So 4175.50 is our session low. It's indicated up here and by this red line here on CQG Trader, right? So we're just going to go 2 points up from that, right? So we're going to go to 77.5, and then we're going to place our stop order here. And we're going to go ahead and place our exit here at 4175.50, okay? Another thing, consolidation is, once again, it's constricted, right, quite frankly. So price is narrowing sideways. What this does say is that it is going to go either up or down from here, okay? So if we're at 4181.50, okay, I use typically round numbers or numbers blocked in tens, right? So we are we count Roman numerals. Our counting system, by and large, that the general public uses what is called a base 10 counting system, right? And everyone understands that, right? We count in parts of 10, right? 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, so forth and so on. So I found that around these areas, there is a significant amount, I call it the base 10 psychosignificance. It's very, very, very fancy, right? Very fancy, and we use that very specifically to indicate where the psychology of the market is headed, okay? So one thing we are going to do is try to see if we can place a trade, okay, that is above this consolidation period, just in case there's some crazy information that comes out that indicates a long trade, right? So our nearest area to that is 4190, but we're going to use 4190 flat as an exit, not an entry, okay? So we're going to go here and we're going to place an entry at 4188.00 because we have a 2 point profit target, okay? So we're going to buy here, and then we're going to go to 4190 flat. We're going to set our limit order there, okay? And that's it. This is the general concept, the general premise. And then as you can see here, I'm going to increase this screen a little bit, okay? We are pretty much directly in the middle of this consolidation period. All right. So when it does break out of this period, it's either going to increase significantly and go up to 41.90 or decrease and go back down to 41.75. Currently, okay, our session low is 41.75 flat. Okay, so if it hits this, all right, the assumption is, and more than not, it obviously occurs that the value will go through it and create a new session low. Okay, we are set up 7:08 a.m. All right, and there are going to be significant market moves generally at 7:38 and then of course 8:30. All right, when the market really gets hot and steamed up because the broad market opens. Right, there's always going to be some type of volume push or volume increase at the time. Right, and these are the things you want to take advantage of. Right. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and I apologize for being late for all the technical glitches, but this is the first one, and I promise you that I will get better going forward. Thank you, and have a good day.